How did Javi Benitez perform one of the most insane sleight of hand card tricks on Fool Us and completely fool Penn and Teller? Well, of course, before I reveal the secret, here's what actually happened. Javi started the performance by introducing 4 blank cards. He placed them on the table before magically turning the first card into a joker. Without missing a beat, he did the same with the second card. For the third card, he paused briefly, allowing the audience to watch the change happen right before their eyes. Then, with a quick wave, the card instantly became a joker. He repeated the effect one last time, turning the final blank card into a joker as well. He then picked up the 4 jokers and waved over the first, magically changing it into the Queen of Hearts. Javi repeated the effect with the second, revealing the Queen of Clubs, then the Queen of Diamonds, and finally the Queen of Spades. Next, he began changing the blue bicycle backs one by one, giving each card its own unique back design. He then waved his hand over the queens, and they instantly became the aces. Moments later, the aces reverted back into blank cards, and he ended the act by placing all 4 blank cards back into his wallet. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. We've now crossed over 1,300 members, with supporters getting early access to upcoming videos, important project and channel updates before anyone else. It's completely free to join, with optional supporter tiers starting at just $1. Just click the link in the pinned comment to join, then get back to watching the video. Since the entire trick relies on a lot of sleight of hand to perform different card changes, I'm going to break the explanation down into 5 phases. Starting with phase 1, where he turns the 4 blank cards into blue bicycle-backed jokers. The 4 blank cards he introduced from his wallet are actually 8 cards, paired together using a light adhesive like this. Now, just a quick heads up. Throughout the performance, there are several jump cuts that make the act look much cleaner than it actually was, while also making it harder to reverse engineer. I'll point them out as we go. But luckily, since you're watching this video, you'll learn exactly how it was done. To turn the first blank card into a blue bicycle-backed joker, he performed a variation of the Bertram change. The Bertram change works by holding 2 cards together and using the index finger to peel the bottom card out into Tenkai palm. That card is then brought around and placed on top, creating the illusion that the card has magically changed. But when you watch his performance closely, there's a sudden jump cut right here. Notice that while his hands are blocking the card in this frame, his head is facing toward the right. Then, immediately after the cut, when the joker appears, his head is suddenly tilted down toward the left. Unfortunately, the producers used this jump cut to hide the Bertram change. But this was only done for the first blank card. With the next card, the move is much easier to spot. As he picks up the second card from the table, you can see his right index finger underneath it, peeling the bottom card out into Tenkai palm. He then waves his hand over the card, and the joker is revealed. In this screenshot, you can even see that there are actually 2 cards stuck together, revealed by the subtle gap between them. For the third card, he uses a slightly different setup. As you can see in this illustration, the bottom portion of the blank card has a partially printed design, which he keeps hidden behind his right hand in this frame. So this time, he doesn't use the Bertram change. Instead, at this moment, you can see him peel the bottom card out and reposition it on top. He then waves his hand over the card, revealing the joker. With all 4 blank cards now changed into jokers, we can move on to the second phase. Phase 2. Turning the 4 jokers into the 4 queens. In the previous phase, we saw the 4 jokers clearly placed face-up on the table. But suddenly the camera cuts to Penn and Teller's reaction, and when it cuts back, all 4 jokers are now in his hand. The 4 jokers we see after Penn and Teller's reaction are not the same 8 cards from earlier. Instead, he's now holding a completely different 9-card packet. Once again, the producers cut out an important part of the performance. During this cut, he switched the original 8 cards for these 9 new cards using a servante, which is essentially a hidden bag hanging behind the table. At the same time, he ditched the original 8 cards. When these 9 cards are spread face up, the sequence looks like this. And when they're spread face down, this is what the backs look like. This allows you to see the face and corresponding back of each card within the same frame. Now, you may have noticed something interesting. Even though Phase 2 is about changing the 4 jokers into the 4 queens, this 9-card packet already contains the different back designs used later. That's because both Phase 2 and Phase 3 rely on the same 9-card sequence. Since the top 4 cards in the packet are the jokers, he takes the top 2 in his right hand. In his left hand, he holds the other 2 jokers along with the 5 hidden cards concealed underneath the 4th joker. Now, to understand how he changes one of these jokers into a queen, watch closely as we slow down the footage. Notice that right before he changes the first joker into the Queen of Hearts, his left index finger applies pressure to the bottom of the packet, creating this large gap. Throughout the explanation, I'm going to refer to this technique as the bottom peel control. Here's how it works. By applying pressure to the bottom of this 7-card packet, he separates the very bottom card from the remaining 6 cards above it. This gap allows him to grab those 6 cards together as one block. And according to the sequence, once that block is removed, the Queen of Hearts is revealed face up. Here you can see the sequence of that 6-card block, which he now holds in his right hand underneath the 2 single jokers. The Queen of Hearts is then repositioned on top of the packet, and he repeats the bottom peel control. Once again, he holds the top 2 single cards in his right hand and the 7-card packet in his left. He then uses his index finger to peel away the very bottom card, creating a gap. His fingers enter that gap and remove the 6 cards above it as one block, leaving behind a single card. This time, that card is the 2nd queen, which appears face down. And according to both the card sequence and the way he presents the effect, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th queens are all revealed face down. He then repeats this exact technique to reveal the 3rd queen, followed by the 4th. Now, a subtle detail I want to point out is that, unlike in the first phase, he never shows the backs of the cards during the second phase. This is because, at this stage, the way the packet is arranged means the blue bicycle backs wouldn't actually be visible. It's only after all 4 queens have been successfully produced that the cards at the bottom are positioned in the correct sequence, allowing him to finally turn his wrist over and display the blue bicycle backs, making them appear like completely normal cards. The Queen of Diamonds, Queen of Clubs, and Queen of Spades all have blue bicycle backs. These cards help conceal the Queen of Hearts, making it appear as though it has the same blue bicycle back as the other queens. Notice that the Queen of Hearts is positioned directly above the 6-card packet. At this point, the blank-faced card at the very bottom, which has a blue bicycle back, is used to conceal the Queen of Hearts' actual back design. At the end of Phase 2, he places the Queen of Spades on top of the Queen of Diamonds and holds both cards in his right hand. In his left hand, he holds the 6-card packet with the Queen of Hearts on top, followed by the single blue-backed Queen of Clubs, like this. Phase 3. Turning the 4 queens into 5 unique back designs. Picking up from where we left off, he's holding the 4 queens like this, along with the 6-card packet over here. He squares up the cards in both hands, flips them over, and pinches each packet between his index and middle fingers. He then repositions the Queen of Clubs, which was underneath the 6-card packet. Since the cards in his right hand have now been flipped over, he moves the Queen of Clubs to the top of the packet, setting everything up for the series of back design changes. From here, he uses the exact same sleight from Phase 2, the bottom peel control. After revealing the first unique back design, he places that card on top of the packet and repeats the bottom peel control to reveal the second. He does the same for the third, and then changes the 4th blue bicycle back into a rainbow-themed bicycle back. But he doesn't stop there. He produces a 5th and final back design, this time with words printed across it, before ending the phase by placing all the cards on the table. Phase 4. Turning the 4 queens into the 4 aces. At this point, the 9-card packet is no longer needed, so he has to secretly switch it out for 5 new cards. The producers tried their best to hide this switch, but they didn't do a particularly good job. Right here, he places the I card in front of the other 9 cards, picks up the entire packet, and turns it around to show the Queen of Hearts on the back. At this moment, when he brings the packet up to his face, he's still holding the original 9 cards. But right here, the camera deliberately stays focused on his face while keeping his hands completely out of frame. During this moment, he grabs a new 5-card packet from behind the table. This packet has the I card on the back and the Queen of Hearts on the front, specifically arranged to resemble the 9-card packet he was just holding. He then Tenkai palms the original 9 cards and ditches them as his right hand moves toward the edge of the table, leaving the new 5-card packet in his left hand. The sequence of these 5 cards looks like this. This phase only requires one move. He peels away the Queen of Hearts from the bottom and, using his right hand as cover, repositions it underneath the 5-card packet, revealing the 4 aces directly above. Phase 5, turning the 4 aces into 4 blank cards. For the final phase, he continues using the same 5-card packet. He first separates the Ace of Hearts from the other 4 cards in his left hand. Using the ace as cover, he secretly flips those 4 cards, revealing their blank sides. And right here you can see that the eye back design card is concealed directly underneath this blank card. He then palms the Ace of Hearts and secretly flips it face down underneath the other 4 cards. Now for the very last move. The top 2 cards, the blank-backed Queen of Hearts and the blank-faced eye-back design card, are picked up together and handled as if they were a single card. He carefully places them back onto the table without exposing the opposite side, which would reveal the aces. Finally, he gathers all the cards and places them back into his wallet, ending the act. This is an incredibly sleight-intensive routine, and after watching this video and realizing just how much is actually happening behind the scenes, it makes Javi's ability to perform the entire sequence so smoothly even more impressive. Behind this mask, only the truth remains till we meet again.